No, it's not.
Oh no!
No.
I didn't. Yeah, I hadn't.
Right, I
done
have
it
to start
before.
again.
It's alright. We didn't get that far in before I realised.
It's going. It's
All
going
right.
now, so it'll kick in
Hello.
at some point.
Right, hello everyone. Just
Hello,
to
puddings.
explain, we just started the game and realised that the stream wasn't actually going. So we're only a couple of minutes in.
Oopsie doopsie.
It's alright. It happens. So what just happened? An elf by the name of Isolde Mayan entered the tent with Cascus and Cyan in the morning. She explained herself to be High Curator of the Savas. And you just did a society check to work out what that was, right?
Yep.
Cascus, you've heard of the Savas, actually.
What?
Like maybe on your ride over to Adana, you had a book on your boat that explained like a little bit about you were just interested and you just sort of wanted to read up a little bit about the elves. There was a passage in there that talked about the elven need to keep very detailed historical notes on everything that happens. And because they live so long, they know the importance of making sure that memories are kept sort of well regarded. So they have this. So the Padrin has this organization known as the Savas, who are like diplomats / historians who kind of just are neutral and go around just recording battles and stuff as they happen. And it's sort of like if you mess with them or get in their way, they'll it's like a big crime. So they're sort of just allowed to wander around.
Yeah, I mean, so are they well regarded by other elves? Because my assumption would be that like they'd be kind of annoying because you're trying to do your thing and then they're coming over like, can I have an interview please for posterity? And you're like, no.
I'm trying to stab people.
They are both regarded as kind of annoying, but also regarded as like if you want to be seen in history as like a great figure, you really got to like kiss their ass a little bit. You know, like if they you, they're gonna write better about you, and that's what the history books are gonna say.
Yeah.
So yeah. So they work out of the Emerald City. And they have like a massive library there, which they store all the information. It's like the most well kept record, like office.
Yeah.
But as for that's pretty much all you can know about them, really. There's not that much else to know.
Who's in charge of them?
You
might not.
Yeah, I don't think they're like an organization that doesn't really have much in terms of like
hierarchy.
Not necessarily hierarchy, because you've got like curators and high curators and sort of all these different ranks and stuff, but they get less and less known who's at the top the higher up you go.
Okay.
It's just like you can find a curator and you can find a high curator in any city, but only the people in the Savas know who's really higher than them, and like they're not going to give that information away freely. So anyway, she puts down a thing and says, and your name is do you go by Vanael?
Vanael is the elven name I use to travel. If it helps, I tend to go by Cyan. My birth name is Oros.
Oros it is. She takes like a single piece of paper off the top of the stack and begins to fill it out. She says, oh yeah, go on.
Can I ask why I'm getting an interview right now?
You are the first sighting of a species that we had considered extinct for a while. It is an important facet of my job that I investigate these sorts of things.
It's not going to come back to bite us, is it?
We only care about the preservation of historical notes of importance. The information will be recorded. It has to be.
Okay.
She carries on writing. She says, you describe yourself as a zero, is that correct?
That's what I am.
And where does your tribe hail from?
We don't tend to give outsiders that kind of information. Basically, I came from a community near Adenira, and I think that's about as much information as to the location that I'm comfortable giving.
Very well.
As you
Right.
mentioned, we were considered extinct, and, well, we like our hiddenness.
I see. She carries on writing. She's writing a lot more, like, down than you've said. So she's clearly writing about you. She looks up at you, and then she looks over at Cascus and says, "And are you a Nazira too, in disguise?"
What do you think?
He's not as charming to be a one.
Ay, ay, ay. Do you only care about Azira, or is it anything interesting?
She says, "Anything interesting?"
He kind of weighs up in his head. No.
Very well.
I
Your
think
name
you're
is-
interesting, Cascus. Simon says, just kind of giving a thumbs up.
She says, "And you so your name is Cascus."
Yes. My name is Kaskis Povriv.
Cascus Povriv. You are not related to Alex Povriv, are you?
That's the one. He flicks like a coin in his. He's just like fidgeting slightly with it, like kind of flicking up and down.
There are a lot of elves who would pay a pretty penny to see your brother dead.
Myself included on most days.
Well, she stands up and says, "I think I will follow you both around for a little bit. Do not mind me. Whilst you're in the camp, just know that I'll be watching."
Are we gonna get privacy? Or is this the matter of you need to describe every detail of me?
I do not know what you're referring to.
Well, are you going to be literally behind me the whole time, or do I have moments to myself? Because I quite like my privacy.
You are not a... I do not intend to spend every single moment by your side, I promise.
Thank you.
I understand that there are those in this camp who are also speaking about your head. I would keep out of their way.
Any
Maybe-
idea why?
A lot of elves fear what they do not understand.
And I imagine it's your job to help them understand.
No,
No?
it's my job to realize whether you're dangerous or not. And she turns around and walks out.
You know, I thought her job was just to record.
Yeah, well, some people say some things when they really mean others. I was actually hoping to chat with you.
Oh yes. As he tries to like move his tail from his face.
I think I owe you an apology more than anyone.
Perhaps.
I understand you may consider me a hypocrite for what I told you.
Go on.
I didn't mean to say it in the sense of shapeshifters aren't a good thing. Sometimes it can help. Do you want to know how long I had that face on for?
Not really, but I feel like you're going to tell me anyway.
5 years.
Yeah.
And
Let me guess, you forgot who you were, or something like that.
it's more than that. It's the face of one of the people that came to my village. I latched onto it because it's the first thing I could think of. I had to look in the mirror every day, thinking that that face is considered less monstrous than my real one. I understand why you do it. I don't want what happened to me to happen to you.
uh, I appreciate your concern. I really, really do. But it is going to take some time for your words to not feel like hot air.
If it helps, I only lied to you the once. I am still the Cyan you knew, I just happen to look a little different.
Okay, so moving over to Henning and Calcifer, as you are getting up and about, the same elf walks into your tent. So a
Right.
human and an orc.
One for the tails, isn't it?
My name is High Curator Isolde Mayan. I work for the Savas. I would like to know anything of import that you have to tell me.
Haven't really got much to add, Calcifer.
I mean, what kind of stuff do you find important?
Why are you here, both of you?
We are diplomats under Merchant Prince Axos. There's a war going on.
What brings you to Essus?
Assistance for Nerian. But you already knew that, right?
In your group, and she looks at both of you, there's only one elf. Only one Sider.
To be fair, we thought there were two up until recently.
So, what does two humans, she looks at you and then sort of nods over to where Cascus is, an orc, an Azira, and a Sider, an elf. Why did they come together at this time? With what is going on?
I assume we were just trusted with the task because, well, we can get things done. We've already proven that. I suppose that's why we were picked.
Plus, we were there. You know.
Yeah, and we were just there. Yes, I think that played a part.
You passed through Herazdan, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who were you with?
Heading looks towards Calcifer, as in, we say?
Don't see why not. Yeah, we were with a convoy on its way to Emerald City. Of course, Ignis had other intentions for that convoy. Not really sure who made it out.
You travelled with Cadell, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
She looks up and says, I could see it in your face. Something happened to him, didn't it?
We don't know what happened to Cadell. The last we saw, They were fighting off a group of soldiers and told us to run. Keldell saved us. What happened to them after that, we are none the wiser.
You can both do a sense motive if you want.
Sure.
Where is that?
27.
Oh, it's just perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some feats that let you use other skills, but by default, it's perception.
I can't. Where is it? Why can I never find these things? Where was it? Is it on the?
It's on the left, just under your
Oh
AC.
yeah, yeah. So I can always get confused with these things. Oh.
So, Calcifer, you when she mentions that when you mention that you don't know where Cadell is, it's like a sort of glimmer of sadness that kind of runs across her face. She looks down at the floor a little bit and sort of like a lump in her throat appears a little bit.
Look,
And she sort of
he's
shakes. Oh yeah, go on.
he's a slippery fucker. I wouldn't be surprised if he got out of there. Now, he was... last we saw him, he was locked in a little duel of sorts with full-on shared wielder. But last I heard, that armor doesn't let you run 1,000,000 miles an hour, so...
She reaches into her sort of coat jacket pocket and takes out like a little trinket. It's like in the shape of a sort of hourglass, kind of, almost. And there's like a very sort of faint hum coming from it. She says, I suspect Cadell trusted you with what he knew. Cadell and I have been close for a long time. This is a trinket that he gave me and told me that his presence will always make it glow. But she sort of like lowers down her hand and reveals the trinket itself. It's humming a little bit, but the like a glow coming from it is a very faint. Almost a pinprick of light.
So what does that mean? Does that mean he's alive?
I do not know. But it should not be like this. It was bright enough to be as a torch in the darkness as before.
Well, not just when he's around, just like all the time.
It changes colour when he's around. But
So he's probably hurt then. Or off on some other plane. Or some bullshit. Look, he's... Honestly, if he came out... If he popped in right now and was just like, oh, by the way, I'm also like... I'm also somehow like 6 dragons. Honestly, wouldn't be that surprised.
he is not as powerful as you think he is. I have seen him get very injured before.
But
And he's
survive.
not- Yes, survive.
Sure, he will survive this time too.
Yes. She stands up and says, "Thank you for your honesty. I will do everything I can to make it so that you can arrive at Lenora safely."
Thank you.
Cheers.
She leaves the tent.
Whew. I thought we were in trouble for a moment
Yeah, got a weird vibe. I think she's
I
I
think
think she was pretty close.
I think we need to be careful around them, nonetheless.
So let's go to Hanera's tent. As you're getting up and about, the tent opens up and you turn around and you see there's Torvel Kane standing there. The knight from your house. Wearing just his regular sort of robe, his black hair sort of waving in the wind, and hit the scar on his face is sort of like quite obvious in the sunlight. She says, "My lady, may I speak to you?"
You may.
He comes in and closes the tent door behind him. I had by now, he says, intended to be heading towards Adenera. But recent events have made me fear for your safety even more.
What recent events?
The fact that you and your friends have found yourselves here.
Right.
Tor Elian is a powerful knight, but he's not a High Lord. You outrank him. If you ordered him, he would have to let your friends go.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I am trying not to associate with my house anymore. I am part of the Adventurers Guild.
I understand that, my lady.
If it comes to it, I'll do it, but...
Very well. Well, then at least let me leave you with a bit of information. This is the forward attack group, also known as the Vanguard.
It's not a great acronym.
What does that mean?
No!
I love it. Okay, fine. Let's continue. He says, this camp is a group of 500 Sidon elves who will be leading the wayfinding, the pathfinding across the Scorched Flats. You'll be going along with them.
That's the name of the game. Okay, and is this a problem?
Well, it will only be a problem if you were to actually come up against any resistance. As the vanguard of the army, you will be the first into all the combats and the first into all the frays. So, if you do not mind, I think you probably will understand why I am concerned for your safety a little bit more now.
Yes. I'll talk to my group.
At the very least, if you do decide to stick here, I will come along until you're at a point where you can be safe.
Oh no, don't do that. Carry on your mission.
I cannot willingly go off and put you at potential risk. I will not be finding myself in your presence too much. I will just stand back and, be chill.
Okay.
Yes? Okay, very well. Well, anyway, my tent is that one right opposite yours. Good night. Good day, my lady. I will see you around.
Imagining Jim just like
thank
going back
you.
to the tent, like closing it and just opening it like a little
Yeah,
little bit with an eye poking through.
He just sat on a bench like with a newspaper with some eye holes cut in it. You begin to hear, like, as you just are getting up and about, you will hear a group of soldiers begin to gather in the sort of central part of the camp. There is some elf standing on a soapbox of some sort, like some sort of platform, just explaining the details of the plan. As you get about, you can't quite make out what he's saying. Most of you due to the Elvish. But for those of you who do speak Elvish, he's explaining that this is going to be the group that goes off and is first to try and find a way for the rest of the army to go.
I'm gonna whisper into Cascus's ear as to translate.
Okay.
You hear a couple of elves nearby sort of whisper amongst each other, saying, those House Ignis soldiers will be shitting themselves when they see us come over the hill." And one of them says, "Are you really sure you want to be here? I think this is like the most dangerous bit." And the other one's like, "Yeah, if we're gonna die, better die here, right in the forefront." Tor Elian comes alongside, walks up behind you. Cyan, and the rest of you are also around. He sort of whispers in your ear. He says, "Good day, my Azira friend." And he sort of bows, sort of always kind of too graciously, almost he might be mocking you a little bit.
I bow even more mockingly.
He
Lots
says,
of flourishes in my hands.
"Look, the Azira knows our ways. Fantastic." And he sort of begins to applaud. And a couple of the elves either side of him also begin to clap.
Hey, look, if you have nothing nice to say, why do not you move on?
We will be moving on shortly. I have some important news that I wish to speak to you all about. How about you come to my tent and we will talk about it?
Why can you not say it here?
Oh, well, it would be a surprise, wouldn't it? I can't quite explain it without maps.
Can I do a sense motive?
Yeah, go up.
Perception.
I would like to as well.
You can aid.
Alright, I'll aid.
It was a pretty bad roll, so yeah, might be useful.
Where do I...
Give me a perception check, and you need to beat a DC of 20.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, that's cool. So that is actually a critical success. So is it +4 to Casca? What is it?
21, right?
Yeah. Either way, you work out. I mean, from what he's saying, I guess. I mean, I guess he's telling the truth. He does clearly have something he wants to show you.
And are the others nearby or not?
Yeah, the rest of the group are around.
Okay. No funny business, huh?
Funny business. We're all allies here, aren't we?
Then
Okay,
start
me.
acting like it.
I do not think I have treated you too badly, have I? You were suspected, sure. As he's walking along towards the tent, he says, "You were suspected as being a House Ignis spy, and I have fed you and given you a place to stay, and all I require from you is your compliance." It's not that hard, is it?
It's in your tone of voice. You learn to pick it up. There's something else you're after.
Very well. As you get into the tent. So who's going? Is everyone going? Henning, are you
I'll
going?
go.
Yeah, I'm going.
Sure.
Henning as well?
Yeah.
Cool. So you all go into his tent. Hanira, you see Torvel Kane poking his head out of like a crowd nearby as you walk into the tent. He's like sort of watching. As you go in there, High Curator Isolde Mayan is in there as well. Isolde Mayan. She's sort of just sat on a chair nearby, sort of looking over at a map. And Tor Elian, he says to you, "How about a little adventure? My scouts have found something in the Scorched Flats, which I think might interest you all."
What kind of thing in the Scorched Flats?
Well, this is the thing. We are the front group of the army, you understand. And our goal is to really find our way through all the ravines without much danger going on. And our very, very forward scouts have found, not that far away, a building of some sort. Old. Seems to be some sort of temple. Now, the High Curator here is very interested in this, and I asked a lot of my guard if there were any volunteers, and unsurprisingly, none of them volunteered. So, she asked if there was anyone else here who might be capable of doing it, and I, unfortunately, I suppose, had to regard all of you.
You said seems like a temple. Surely you're used to elven temples. So this must not be elven.
As Mayan stands up, the High Curator, she says, "It is most certainly elven. It is the time period it is dated to is risky."
What time period?
Well, I have only had a precursory glance at it on the way up here. It seems from my first glances, I didn't go inside, but from the structural sort of support on the cave network just by it, it seemed to be maybe dated towards the Age of Gods. Perhaps to the Wars of the Titans. Maybe before.
And you mentioned it's risky.
Well, these sorts of temples can always be risky. The Titans left behind a lot of very powerful weapons from that period, as did the gods. It is where we find most of our shard blades in temples like this as well. Shard blades. This is jade steel blades.
Very well.
This is so important. Why trust it to us? Surely you would wait a bit and hire out some professionals.
I think Elian stated that that he tried to get other volunteers, but they refused.
I do not mean mere volunteers from the Vanguard. I mean professional splunkers.
Plus, if this place is nearby, how come no one's found it before?
Well, the High Curator stands up and says, "Well, people don't tend to walk through the Scorched Flats all that often. I travelled from Anuna. I had to cross quite a few perilous voyages, and it was just having met up with the scouts is when I spotted it. It doesn't seem that anyone else has noticed it, but now, as the word has gotten out, I don't want to leave it for a House Ignis group to find. If there is a shade steel blade in there, it would be very valuable for the war effort."
Can we keep it if we find it?
She says, "The rules are that only elves may use shades."
So I could use it.
You could, my
What
lady.
What about someone using it on behalf of an elf High Lord?
And is it more so like, is it more just only elves can, or only elves should?
There are currently no records of non-elves ever having used one,
Oh, we've got to start somewhere.
and there are very few of women having used them.
It would be quite the symbol for an alliance between, I say humans. What do we call just like people that aren't elves?
Non-elves.
Yeah, but that sounds weird, right? Saying like an alliance between, like what are we called?
Orc. You're an orc.
No, not that. The merchant company, the Adenor Merchant Company.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it could be it could be a pretty good symbol. The alliance between the Adenor Merchant Company and whatever houses end up on the right side of this war, when all said and done.
And if an area uses it, I mean, look, it's 860. I think it's about time that we moved forward past these norms and just, allowed women to use shade steel.
It is current year, to be fair.
Aye, aye, aye.
But I'm not sure I've seen an arrow swing a blade before.
Hey, hi curator. I hope you're getting some very good content here.
I take my dagger out and swing it around.
She says, I did say it might have a shade steel blade in it. It may have other things. At the very least, it will be an untouched tomb of some sort, or temple, dedicated to some pantheon. It will be full of treasure. You'll be entitled to a share of it. I just want information. That's all I want.
Are you coming with us?
Well, someone has to take track of all the etchings and things.
Okay.
Are you any good in a scrap?
I've done it this long, haven't I? It's not my first temple.
Okay, what kind of battle tactics?
I was
You
trained.
use?
I was trained as a cleric.
Just like someone else we know.
She nods to you. And so then the Tor Elian says, "Well, so agreed. There we go."
Well, hold on, Torelian. There's one small thing I also add. You know, we could do with more very experienced blades in our party, and I cannot think of a more well-equipped person than yourself to accompany us too, no?
Someone has to lead this rebel.
Ah, true, but a leader is willing to do the job of anyone he sends.
No, because if we have to bring him, then we have to share the loot.
You
It's-
have that big friendly knight guy. Can't he come with us?
Or Valkane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could ask him. He'd probably want to come.
That does raise a question. Is Tor just a very common name? Like
Tor
why
is a prefix that just sort of means knight of some sort, like sir.
right? Okay.
Which means like sir.
Okay.
Tor Elian says, why would I need to go in there? I already have a shade steel blade.
I'm not going there for a shade steel blade.
I want to see if
I
I,
mean, if you-
can use a shade steel blade.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to Cascus, I'll give it a swing.
I could give this.
My point is that I was just hoping to spend some more time with you. You seem like a very forthright gentleman.
Well, you're still going to be meeting back up with my army as we pass. Don't worry. If you said you wanted to help out, we've got an army to fight. This is just extra.
We should be able to move faster than the main lot.
Yeah, you can move a lot faster.
So we could potentially go there and meet back up before they reach down south.
Yeah. So the High Curator says it is 20 miles or so southeast of here. I should be able to remember where it is.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Can I find full Valkane before we leave?
Yeah, sure. As you exit the other knight's tent, Torvalkane basically is like super obviously nearby, just sort of like looking over a bunch of people towards you.
Just like sweeping, whistling.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my lady, I didn't expect to see you here.
We're going to look at a temple about 20 miles from here. Did you want to come?
Why?
It's not an order or anything, but if you want to come with us, you can.
Are you going?
Yes.
Then I will be also going. Yes, of course, my lady. I would be happy to help.
Okay.
I'm actually not going. Oh, okay. I guess I'm not going then.
Oh no, I didn't. I wasn't planning on going anyway. Okay, cool. So he's basically ready to go. He just says, "Yeah, come find me when you're ready." Or he sort of just lingers until you are all ready. I mean, if you wanted to leave, like soon, you could get there by nighttime.
I think that's a good idea. There's no point in hanging around.
No, this one.
Yeah. Henning, yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I keep muting myself.
No, that's cool. That's fine. Okay. Well, in that case, the High Curator and Torval Kane both are with you, and she begins to lead you off into the Scorched Flats once again. As you're walking, again the sort of familiar territory, you walk past the dinosaur. As you sort of make your way to the top of a nearby hill, and you look back on the city, you see that the camp of guards, of soldiers, have pretty much begun the process of packing up, and they're now starting to march down the road behind you. So the next few hours begins to pass. The High Curator leads you quite expertly through the terrain, as the army also kind of walks to this one. Oh yeah, go on.
I know, God.
So what's everyone doing as they're
I
walking?
want to have a chat with Velkane.
Okay. Torval Kane, he is just sort of casually just sort of thinking to himself, I think, as he's walking, just looking out off into the distance, running his hand through like some of the tufts of very dry grass that occasionally tufts out alongside the road.
Hey, buddy.
Not your buddy, but hi.
Well,
Okay.
not your buddy, friend.
Ow. No, did I say something wrong?
No. But you did lie to my lady, and I unfortunately that has, I feel, hurt her feelings.
Tips Fedora.
Respectfully, I feel that if I told your lady, as is the common experience for elvish nobles, we'd be once again considered, as Lady Isolde said, rather extinct.
Right. Well, anyway, was there something? Sorry, was there something you wanted to ask me? I'm sorry, I'm lost in my thoughts. There's a lot going on.
So, Isolde mentioned that there are people in the camp that might want me to be. And I just kind of drag my finger across my neck.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that?
I think it's just natural that in a camp full of people who are riling themselves up to go to war, they tend to imagine death as one of the first things when anything happens.
Yeah, but Isolde mentioned that they're more looking for my death in particular.
I haven't heard anything personally. But it would be unjust to allow such a thing, so you have my backing.
Thanks. If you hear anything, can you give me a shout? Not a literal shout, but, you know.
Would it help?
Well, I would prefer knowing that someone's trying to kill me before it happens.
Noted. I will let you know.
Thank you.
He sort of just begins to walk off slightly faster than you.
So I take it he's not a big fan of Cyan.
No, don't take it personally. He just isn't. He just likes to keep to himself, I think.
Yeah.
What's everyone else doing?
Just walk in. I don't really have anything to talk about.
So Hinira is points at the guy who was like almost like speed walking away from Cyan.
Tired shrugging.
Is he going to be a common fixture?
Oh, I don't know. I've tried to tell him that I'm not really affiliated with the House Trustfair anymore, but
Well, why do you not tell him in very clear terms? Tell him to go away.
well, I figured if he wants to help us get rid of this temple, or not get rid of this temple, explore this temple, he can.
That is very gracious of you. Are you doing this just because he has a good sword?
Maybe. And he wants to protect me.
I see. Well, I hope his loyalty does not become the death of him.
Yeah. I'm sort of hoping he'll go away soon, but he's got a shade. He's a shade wielder, and Narion can use all the help they can get.
True. Well, if you want me to tell him to go away, let me know.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So, as you continue on, eventually the sun begins to break slightly behind the horizon, behind the mountains in the distance, and you are only guided by the sort of light, the residual light of the sun in the sky, bearing down on you. So it's starting to get a bit darker. It's starting to come into evening, and eventually, you're taken down a sort of windy kind of ravine cliff passage until opening up by a cliff face is what seems to be carved into the temple, into the stone cliff walls of the ravine, is this sort of large archway made of very weathered stone and partially covered in sand, like it's sort of as sand is blown down the ravine. It's piled up against the walls. There's intricate carvings of these sort of unknown symbols and patterns, which cover the surface, and it's very skillful, very skillfully designed. If anyone's ever seen Petra, like in Jordan, that's the sort of thing you're thinking here. Just carved amazingly, all these different pillars and archways. You can sort of feel a sense of age and mystery emanating from the structure. And as you get towards the sort of archway itself, as it sort of begins to recess into the cliffs, you can feel that there's like a cool breeze that sort of shoots down out of like maybe one of the sand-covered openings, and a bit of sand sort of blows a little bit. The high curator sort of goes over and says, Yes, this is it. Just as I thought. See these pictures over here? And she points over to these sort of like kind of geometric shapes that line the archway, that are carved into the rock. And she says, these are on point things I would look for for a temple from the era that I suspect this is.
Elsevier, can you identify any of this? You religious folk.
Can I?
Give it a try. Give me a perception check first.
Not great at these. Also not great at religion checks. 14.
Right, give me a religion check.
Can I aid with that? Or...
No.
Hang on.
Even if your aid super succeeds, is not going to help. So,
Okay.
So all right, Calcifer, you can't quite make that much out. You notice that the only thing you do notice is that there is a a door. It's like a stone door to the temple, which is heavily weathered, and it's half buried in the sand, just underneath the archway. So
Look.
you might be able to push it open.
Look, honestly, didn't really do that well academically. Not gonna lie. But I do have a hand for I do have a bit of an eye for my engineering stuff, and that looks like a door.
Do they teach that in engineering? Doors or?
I mean, your standard door can get pretty complex.
You pull a knob. You pull a knob.
Do you know how to make a lock?
I know how to pick one.
Do you know how to make a lock that you couldn't pick?
Well, I imagine. Would I have trained? Would I have had training locks at one point that I would have had a look at, or is that a thing here?
You can get a training lock. A lot of people just practice on a regular one there.
It's just your neighbor.
Yeah.
Your neighbor's house. Just break
The
into
neighbor,
it.
the neighbor with bad hearing.
The curator says, well done, Calcifer. You found the door. She says, be careful if you try and open it. Sometimes they put nasty traps in these sort of places. What do we think? Are we going to take a rest here, or are we going to take a rest further into the temple?
What
I
time is it?
think. Yeah.
I think while we're fresh.
What time is
Yeah.
it?
So it's coming into evening now, so probably about 8 p.m. I'd say. You've probably got a couple more hours of adventuring in you if you wanted to continue on.
I feel like if we go in, we're gonna come across some variant of nasty. It's a strange feeling I've got.
It could just be empty.
It'll be just
It
as.
could be empty.
I mean, if there's nasties in there, they'll be just as nasty tomorrow. The way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, we could go in there fresh as daisies. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We are fresh as daisies. Although daisies can't really survive out here. Anyway. I'm happy doing what everyone else does. I think setting down for camp might be a better idea, but, if folks want to go in,
I think
I'll
we
go
should
in.
camp outside.
My only preference to go in is that I do not have to sit and listen, have all my words written down.
I think that's going to happen regardless.
The High Curator says, so what is the plan? Are you going inside now?
No, we're going to camp outside.
Going to camp outside. Very well. Tora, Valkane says, that's what I would have chosen to do too.
Can I sense motive plans?
Yeah, go on. Make a
Fuck
perception.
yeah. Fuck.
You are convinced that is exactly what he.
Yes.
He's
yes.
he's just a
Okay.
really badass. He just always makes the right decision.
And it always happens to line up with what Haneras is. It's weird.
Hadera has the best decisions.
Hell yeah.
Henning, as you begin to sit down, as everyone in the camp begins to make camp and get ready, sort of looking at the temple itself, there seems to be something strange about it. Something that no one's picked up on.
Oh, can I do detect magic?
You can make it. You can do it as a magic.
I have a thing for this. Sorry. I was really excited.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh wait, maybe I don't.
After all that, you got to make it up.
Well, I can't remember what it's called. It's
Cool.
basically
You carry on just having a look for it. I'm just gonna think this with Henning. So you're sort of looking at the temple itself. You're sort of getting a feeling that the others haven't got. Either they haven't picked up on it, or there's something going on. It feels very similar to the feeling of the temple the volcano that you were at on the island. Like there's something about it that kind of it doesn't feel holy. It feels kind of unholy.
Oh.
Doesn't feel like a holy temple, that's for sure.
I'll probably keep that to myself for now.
Yeah,
Just
fair
while
enough.
we're having a look around.
Yeah, you're sort of having like kind of mini flashbacks to Vance and Melithar. I think that was his name.
Is anything happening with the shard while we're here?
Oh, are you gonna get it out
Yeah.
in front of the party? Are you gonna sort of sneak up?
Maybe sneak off just for a second.
Okay.
Just want to see if it's doing anything funky while we're here.
You peer into it again. As you look through it, again, you're in a very similar place in the gloom, like as you're looking through it. The same sort of ravine structure. But as you look at the temple itself, the temple seems to be like exactly the same. In almost every way, like it just is a complete one-to-one mirror. And there's this like black energy sort of just radiating out of all the windows and doors, sort of all the openings in the structure.
Okay.
But you need to give me another will check for doing that.
Another
We'll save. We'll
check.
save.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, I don't know. Could be fun.
Okay. So you begin to peer through. You're sort of looking at this weird, sort of gloomy smoke that's coming out of that you're looking at through the shard. And as you turn around, you see a creature sort of jump at you through the shard thing. And even though you sort of jolt yourself back and you drop it to the ground, you take
All of your health and psychic damage.
that's 25 force damage.
Okay.
And as you sort of reel back on the ground and you sort of your ass slides back, the shard having dropped like a stone right in front of you and just sort of kind of pulsating slightly in the grass, you've got this like scratch down your chest that is like almost like a wild animal has scratched you.
Okay.
But as you look down at your chest, it's not bleeding. Like you've just been cut open. There's no blood coming out of it.
Do we hear anything?
You probably
You would have-
hear like a little yelp or something, like in a thud, just like around the corner in the ravine.
I run
draw
over
my
and check.
sword.
Okay, yeah, you see Henning, sort of his ass on the ground, a big slash in his chest, and there's shard in a pile of dirt, not that far away.
I want to immediately throw my cloak over the shard before
Henning
the
tries to grab
other.
it before you do that.
I'm
There you
trying
go.
to keep it hidden, you fool!
You're gonna have a tug of war for it.
Oh my god, the precious.
So you both jumped for it.
Yeah.
You're both not gonna give it up.
I like if Henning's like dedicated to snatching it, Cyan's gonna look a little weird. But he's like, gonna shrug.
Okay, that's fine. Yes.
Hide it, you fucker!
So yeah, Cyan like runs over and just like covers it with a cloak, and Henning just immediately snatches it up, my precious style.
It's mine. Don't you try to take it.
What
Hey,
is that in your hands? The
Nothing.
hydrated
None of your business. Henning puts it away.
Henning? This isn't healthy.
She walks over and says, "Open that cloth for me, right now."
No.
Henning. I'd do as she says.
Fine.
She like is raising her eyebrow a little bit that you said that you defied her. But are you gonna? So are you said fine? Did you?
That's, I'll show them it, but obviously gonna keep a tight grip on it.
As you sort of uncloak it, she sort of gasps and holds her hand up to her mouth. That can only be one thing. No, this isn't right. Why did I not hear about this from the priests?
What
You
do you
possess-
What
think?
priest?
You possess a shard of the Mirror of Gloom. That explains so much. What the strangeness we've seen.
What strangeness?
Can't you see with the rifts? The gloom is spilling over. Torvel Kane says, "What are you talking about?" As he sort of rounds the corner. She says, "The gloom is spilling over into our realm, and no one knows how to stop it."
Sorry, can you talk in plain English? Why,
What?
why do you think this?
Which is what Cadell was studying, what he was researching.
Oh, would you like something interesting to write down?
Can't you see I'm trying to help?
No. This was genuinely some helpful information. One sec, and he ruffles through his bag and pulls out the map of Adana and Radrana that has like the various. I think it was like circles, right?
Yeah.
And kind of just like points it and goes, you see, when we were back in Port Daldron, you may be sure you're familiar, but underneath there is a giant hole, and in this hole, under the city, there is a portal to the gloom. I had the very unfortunate mishap of nearly falling into it, but it is said that there is a number of these all around under these places.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, brilliant, you know. And you are from the Emerald City, right? And there is one under there.
Yes.
Okay. So you knew the gloom was pouring in anyway.
It is what we've been trying to fix. I am High Curator, but I am also part of another order.
What order?
That is information I cannot give up just yet. But understand that we have been trying to fix this problem for a little while now.
It doesn't happen to have a pentagon? Pentagram. I think that's right.
There are others who are also trying to find the answer.
Can I follow up on that with my feat called discreet inquiry? So when I gather information, you can hide the true subject for inquiry among other topics of interest to you without increasing the difficulty of the check. And I basically just want to do like a pointed question.
Okay. What do you want to ask?
What order is she in?
Okay.
So it's a diplomacy roll. And it's against. Hold on. And I've written in the chat 40 seconds ago, but I'm making this my lead. So it's a 28. And it'd be against deception. Let's see. Oh no, wait, hold on. Let's see. Just DC together information. I'm not sure. I'll succeed your deception. Sorry, I'm not being very helpful here. Check the amount. Canvas. I'm not sure what the answer is to that. Sorry. Where is it?
What are you looking for?
It's a diplomacy check, but it doesn't say what it's against for you.
Okay.
Sorry.
I would say that. That's probably not high enough anyway. It wouldn't be high enough anyway, even if it was against whatever it was.
Okay.
She says, "I am sworn to silence on the matter of the name, but understand that it is the same order that Cadell was part of, and our purpose is to try and save this world from any danger that may befall it."
You know Cadell very well, then.
I have known him for a long time.
Do you know Cadell? And Simon's gonna give her a look of, like, do you know the?
There's very little I do not know about Cadell. That's all I have to say on the matter. She sort of like gives a half smile at you. She says, "It is true that these rifts have been pouring in. It's been happening for about 6 or 7 years now. That's when I first started hearing about it.
And you do not know what started it.
It is not only that we do not know what started it, we have no idea even how to slow it down. By all of our best estimations, and that is in the Savas and outside of it.
We think the banking guild might be involved somehow.
At the very least, they are aware, and
Have been experimenting with it.
yes.
I do not know why they would do that. If they only knew the danger they were messing with. The gloom and our realm are not meant to intertwine.
The banking guild are humans. I doubt they think or know much about that, or even care. I think they're just trying to use it for power or some other purpose.
Well, at the very least, they have caused an issue that is not going to be fixed easily. Our best estimations is that Adana will be consumed by these rifts somewhere in the next 2 to 6 years, if something is not done about them.
And Rotoran. Oh wait, no, ignore me because it's the name for both of them. Sorry.
Yeah. We do not know how far those rifts will spread to.
There was someone at the rift that Cascus went to. He was talking about the end times of the elves.
Aye. When Adna will be swallowed by the waves. And the mountain gods will have their vengeance.
The mountain gods.
Aye.
Mountain gods. What mountain gods?
They are the name translated into common of the elementals who once ruled this place before the gods arrived and cleansed. So there were primordial gods, old gods as such, and one of the first things Pandaren did was that he banished them beneath the mountains. It is said that in the end time of the elves, the mountain gods, their leader, known as Ashad, will
We
take his
have that
vengeance.
name written down.
Ashad, yeah. Ashad will take his vengeance, and he will be released by his right-hand man.
Who's his right-hand man?
A elemental that went by the name of Malathar.
Malathar. Did someone give these elementals, like, did they have mothers? Because I'm pretty sure if you're walking around with a name like Malathar, you're not gonna, grow up to be a saint.
With these sort of creatures, names are more given than given through
Right.
actions. That being said, obviously, like, I think most of you have. Did you all hear the name Malathar when Vance shouted it in the volcano?
I think that name was mentioned. It sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I definitely would have heard that.
yeah.
Or he
yeah,
shouted
so,
it right by me, yeah.
So that's what she. That's you assume who she's talking about.
The mountain. Under the mountain.
The
So
volcano guy.
Volcano.
Volcano, yeah. So the mountain god Ashad, his right hand man is Malathar. Or his right hand elemental.
And he's the
And
guy who we potentially may have released.
Yeah, and Malathar was banished underneath the banished at the same time as Ashad was by Zornikar, or Seraphiel, as he was known at the time.
Does she say that in front of everyone?
She doesn't say that, but that's just what information that you already knew.
We know that Seraphiel is a name for Zornikat. I thought that was.
I think you weren't here.
Oh yeah, you missed that. You missed that.
Oh shit.
I don't think Henira told everyone that.
Was it just Henning?
Yeah, I
think
only
it was
told
just
Henning.
Yeah, no, I was there when Hanera found it out in the book and told Henning.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that
It wasn't everyone
information-
then. Fine. Okay, cool. In that case, well, at least that's what you know, Henning.
Okay. Henning's not really going to say anything because he doesn't want to give away that he knows. Obviously knows Vance to this lady because not quite sure what reaction he's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to kind of keep quiet but attentively listening to what she might say.
And they catch me out for lying. Gods.
To be fair, yeah, I suppose Henning wouldn't know necessarily. But the elves respect Zornikar more than the humans do and the dwarves
Yeah.
do.
What do the Azira think about Zornikat?
I don't think the Azira really care that much about the elves in general.
We're just here to chill.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah,
Well, let's take a break here, shall we? And we'll come back in 15 minutes, and then
Okay.
if there's any more questions that you have, we can ask.
Grab a drink.
Sure.
Cool. Let's do that.
All right. See you in a few minutes, our precious nipples.
Jeez, too. Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. So just before the break, the party had arrived at the temple, which seemed to be, I guess, the temple of some group from the Age of Gods. So you've encamped outside, and the High Curator. Where's my notes? Isolde Mayen. She has explained to you a bit more of Cadel's like plan, I guess, which was to basically just try and discover what is going on with the gloom and why it's spilling over into the world. And she said that within potentially between 2 and 6 years, at the current rate it's expanding, it is going to consume the whole continent, which may be a reason why people are getting so trigger hungry. Trigger hungry? That's not the word. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Happy.
Trigger happy. There we go. So, let's just skip to the next morning. There's nothing in this ravine that's potentially dangerous. So, unless there's anything that anyone wants to do during the night, or last preparation or anything.
I would like to chat with Hanera.
Cool.
All right.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. You okay?
Yeah. What's up with Buddy Boy?
Yeah, I don't really know. He's my mum's guard. Well, knight. And he doesn't want me to get hurt because I think he feels like, he knew me from when I was a baby, so I think he feels responsible for me.
Is he one of those people who's not your uncle, but then you call your uncle? You
Oh,
get what I
God.
mean? Like a friend of like the father of a friend.
You mean my dad?
No, the father of a friend that you call your uncle. Do you not have that?
Oh, I
Just
thought you meant. I thought you meant. Is he like a guy you call your uncle, but it's actually your dad?
It's like it's more like what one of your dad's bodyguards
Yeah.
or securities like people.
Right. I was only asking because he mentioned I might have hurt your feelings.
Okay.
Did I hurt your feelings?
Well, you said we were friends, right? And then you just lied to me. So I guess, yeah, maybe you did hurt my feelings a little bit, but
I lied because I wanted to. If it wasn't just for me, if people found out that you were helping me, they could have hurt you. Because
yeah, and I get that, but you could have still told us.
my people thrive on not being known. If I went around telling people, even people I like, it could be very bad shit.
Okay. It's fine.
I did just want to apologize.
Right? Just you had the perfect opportunity to come clean to us when we were on that boat.
I could have. I was going to, but old habits die hard.
Right.
Okay, cool. Anyone else want to say anything? Or do anything?
Oh yeah, I was casting Detect Magic. I cast it at level 2.
Oh yeah.
No, at level 1, at will.
Who's Will?
Ha ha ha.
As you look towards the entrance to the temple, there is definitely a magical glow that comes off it. Sort of swift, wispy, sort of trails of magic that sort of flurry out of the cracks in the stone face. You also notice that, like where you see the main stone entrance, maybe about 15 or 20 feet to the left of it, buried underneath the sand, is like some sort of magical signal.
Ooh. Okay, in the morning I'll go and dig that up.
All right, in that case.
Oh wait, has it already been the night?
No, it is going to be now then.
Okay.
All right, next day. So, all right, as the day begins, you all awaken to see that the High Curator is already up and is just sort of surveying the front of it. She's drawing a sketch of the front of it. She's drawing very quickly. Her hands moving very fast. And as you sort of see the sketch in her hands, you notice that it's very, very, very well done sketch of the front of the.
Is she Pietro?
That's what I was thinking. Do I see any flashes in the eyes or
If anyone
anything?
ever sketches anything in the campaign, Pietro's wife.
That's no.
It's
You-
Pietra.
Are you asking her that?
Are you someone called Pietro,
Pietro's
who
wife.
we've never heard of?
No, I say there's a magical signal coming from in the sand over there. Maybe we should dig it up.
I'm good at digging.
Someone said manual labor.
Very well. The High Curator says it can't hurt. Just be careful. Don't flip any switches or anything.
I take it
So-
me and Calcifer are gonna go dig.
All right, you point out if anything looks sketchy, and I'll do the digging. All right.
Okay.
All right. In that case, athletics check for Calcifer and a perception check for Cyan. Then.
Okay.
Okay.
I assume Hank probably wouldn't. Can I have Hank help,
Oh,
help
for
with
God's
the?
sake!
Can I have Hank help with the digging?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. Age.
Dig.
What was that, Alex?
Don't worry.
What did you say?
Sorry, let me just check whether I took assurance. I did not take it for this. 1 minute. Oops, that's 26.
Well, in that case, all right. So you begin to dig away the sand quite carefully. Cyan is not helpful at all. He's like pointing out, dig there, and it's just all the sand's
Yeah,
sort of falling on your hand.
That's also sand.
And eventually you begin to dig away at the wall, and you notice that there seems to be a side entrance down here as well. It seems to be a smaller door from the main door. It can still potentially be pushed open, but now you have 2 potential entrances.
All right.
Let's go the smaller way.
Yeah, side entrance over here. Probably less likely to be trapped, I figure.
If they want to hide something, I imagine it would be in the secret side entrance.
Does High Curator just having a slightly better look of her, just a kind of general Sherlockian look, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there? Can I roll a perception check just to see
Yeah,
if there's
go.
any more detail?
Mhm.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're walking forward and he's kind of walking behind her or something. To your lead, yep. That's 18.
She seems to have a very strange aura around her, really. She doesn't quite act like all the other elves that you've noticed. But then again, you haven't really met anyone from the Savas before. And as someone who is very, very interested in knowledge and history and religion, she might just be a bit weird.
And what's her body hair like?
She seems to have about the same amount of body hair as a normal female
Tiger?
elf.
Tiger stripes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Am I getting any procs from her about the Spidey sense?
No, I'll let you know if they do.
The what
Okay.
now? I guess I wouldn't know. Carry on.
Yeah, that's secret skill.
It's actually Foxy Feelings.
I got these foxy feelings.
It's actually called my furry da.
No, it's not.
No, can we? No, just skip this out. please.
I think it's proper triggered that.
All right. So, are you going through? Are you planning on opening the side entrance or the main entrance?
Yes, the side entrance.
Yes. Very well.
Correct.
Who is open? Who's going to give it a push then?
Calcifer.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it a push.
Very well. Give me a strength check.
Okay. Just strength or
Or
athletics?
athletic. Give me
Can I get Torval Kane to help?
Like the side entrance is quite small, so you can only really fit
Oh,
one
okay.
person down into the hole that you've sort of dug in it. If it was the main entrance, you could probably have more. But yeah, give me an athletics check then.
28.
Okay, so you begin to shove. It doesn't quite give away at first, but eventually there's like a bit of a give in it, and you start to feel like, oh, it actually is starting to push a bit more easily now. You have to sort of lift it up and push it back slightly. So the door is forced open with brute strength, and as you begin to push, you push it really, really heavy. It feels like it sort of begins to click shut. It's almost like a big block of stone that you're pushing further and further into the doorway, and eventually it just sort of clicks and then falls through the ground, and it reveals this big square like corridor ahead of you, tunnel. But as it drops down, there's a click as well, and a large gust of wind sort of shoots out of the tunnel. So who's in the entranceway here? Is it just Calcifer, pretty much?
I think so.
I
You need-
imagine I would be close to Calcifer to keep an eye out.
Sure. All right. Both of you make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Okay. Is this to avoid damage?
It's probably to avoid being knocked back.
Hang on, I think I have a thing for this.
Like you could
Um,
potentially take damage from being knocked back, but it's not likely.
I'm just checking if my bulwark thing would.
So I have evasion. If I roll a success on a reflex save, I get a critical success instead.
Very well.
Yeah, I have because I get a +3 against reflex saves to damaging effects from my armor.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if this is just knocking back, then. Oh, nice.
That's a good one.
What did you get?
31.
I got a 35.
Oh, fine. Yeah, you both hold on fine. It pretty much just seems like a triggered gust of wind spell or something. Attempts to knock you back slightly. It kicks up a bit of a sandstorm, like you get a bit of sand in your eyes. But after a few moments, you clear your eyes and look down, and there is a darkened tunnel which just seems to go ahead. The walls are old, and it's covered in many eras of dirt and grime that is sort of just collected there over the years. There's also like a whole bunch of murals which seem to be on the side of the walls as you enter. But you need a torch to go any further.
I'll cast dancing lights.
Cool.
Like, I'm really sorry. Can I just go back on that check thing where I was looking at the High Curator?
Yeah.
Because I just remembered that I have the biographical eye trait.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered if we could try that. So it's a DC 30 society check, and it picks up on like more about like their origin history, like you notice bits of green under the person's fingernails,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
indicating their membership in a secret society or something similar, etc.
Yeah, give it a go.
Thank you.
So you need to make a society check.
Yeah, society check with a DC of 30.
Very well.
And because I'm engaged in the person in a conversation, it's a +1.
Okay.
At the time, I guess you can say.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to eke out my investigator skills.
That's all right.
It's a 28. So no, that's okay.
Yeah, unfortunately that fails, but it's worth a try. So she steps forward. She sort of peers into the tunnel as the lights begin to go through. Those who are sort of peering in as well, you're greeted by a dimly lit now corridor leading into the heart of what seems to be a temple. The air is dry and filled with the scent of old age stone and dust, which is a stark contrast to the hot, arid air of the desert outside. Are you going to continue your way in?
Yeah, I think I'll be near the front-ish to keep an eye out.
Okay. So the walls, floor, and ceiling are all made of the same weathered stone as the exterior. Though you notice here that the wear and tear of time in general is just more noticeable. So the ceiling of the corridor, as you begin to walk through it, seems to be punctuated by thin, irregularly placed holes, allowing what seems to be thin rays of what you imagine at one point might have been sunlight. Because there seems to be like kind of blocks up, so like a bit of sunlight pokes through some of them, but it might have been like mirrored at some point, just allowing sunlight from the outer world to be able to get into here. But it's mostly filled up with sand now and shit. These shafts of light that do break their way through, there's a kind of ethereal dance of brightness and shadow that moves as you walk through, and it's quite disorientating a little bit, but you continue on. So who's in the front?
That'll be me.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. 27.
27. As you begin to lead the group down the corridor, you stop suddenly. Looking down, Nyx has sort of put her hand out and is floating down and sort of reveals out to you what seems to be a pressure plate, untriggered, just in front of you in the center of the corridor.
I pointed out to everyone, we might want to give that a wide berth. And I'm going to keep an eye out for any more.
Oh yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, hang on, I can help you with this. I'm going to quick craft you an eagle eye elixir, which gives you +3 to finding trapdoors,
Nice.
traps, and secret doors.
Okay,
So
I
will
knock it back
I will
then.
do that. And you also gain
Good.
2 item bonus to perception checks.
Nice.
That lasts, I think, for an hour.
So +3 to finding traps.
+3 to finding traps and secret doors. +2 item bonus to perception checks.
Okay, so you looking a bit further on down the corridor, you notice the corridor splits a bit wider, and there seems to be a whole bunch of, as you sort of begin to investigate it, there's a whole bunch of potential pressure plates. It's quite hard to tell exactly which ones are and which ones aren't. But you notice that from just your perception check, you just noticed that there are like quite a few of what seems to be the holes above you where the beams of light are showing. They seem to be shining on certain tiles. Whether that means that they are safe or not, you'll have to probably investigate that.
It's old.
Yes, she's sort of like in the middle of the group.
Is it normal for temples to be trapped to the 9s?
Depends if there's something in here that they don't want us to get. She gives
Very
you a
well.
sort of knowing look.
I'm going to investigate some of those special plates, the sunlighty ones, and without trying to touch them or anything. Just kind of having a look around, see what they do.
Give me have you got some law traps? What skills have you got that might be relevant here?
Well, do you mean feats or
Just skills. Just something to roll. Let's have a look.
Crafting? I don't know if you know how to make traps.
Proficiencies. Here we are. You can do thievery for me.
Okay.
Just give me thievery. Yeah, just give me a thievery.
24.
24. I think you looking at it. It looks like the light might be showing the safe path, but still there's the problem of there's quite a few of these things above are clogged up, and there's not like reaching through them.
Hanera,
Yes.
can you move those lights? The
Yeah.
dancing ones. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they shine on. Wait, no, because the ceiling's clogged. Can I make up? Get an idea as to which holes are clogged and blocking light, or
Ooh, from here, yeah, I can say that you can give it a perception check, but you'll be taking probably a -2 circumstance modifier to that because it's quite difficult to see.
okay. Well, then that's just a flat one because I got +2 item bonus from the eagle eye.
Okay, very well. Yeah, flat one.
30.
Okay, yeah, cool. That's fine. It's quite hard to tell exactly which ones are clogged, but because obviously there's just like the wear and tear that's generally been thingied here. But you have a fairly good idea that like there's like a series of 5 pressure plates that you might be able to stand on that won't hurt you.
Okay.
You think you have the idea.
I'm going to step on one and then throw a pebble at the next one. See if that does anything.
Okay, you step on the first one, doesn't click or anything. You seems to be safe. Throwing a pebble down, it clicks off the pressure plate, but then it clicks onto one that you are convinced that it may be a pressure plate, and it just seems that the pebble doesn't seem to be heavy enough to really trigger it.
Okay. I'm gonna jump onto that one then.
Okay, seems to be safe.
I'll go to the next one.
All right. Yeah, it's safe as well. And now you're within distance of the other side of the corridor. That if you wanted to, you could just try and jump from here, or you could follow the route and hope it's still considered safe.
I think safe to say to follow the route so that the less acrobatic of the party can see which route I'm going for.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm also gonna ask Henera to drop a light on each one.
Yeah, let me see how many lights I have. Open. Why is the spell not opening? Does that work? Okay. I'd make 4 lights.
Okay, so you can get 4 of them.
I'll get Henera to drop them at everyone past the first one.
Okay. And then you just tell them which the first one is.
Yeah.
Very well. All right. So stepping on the other 2, you step on the first one and nothing happens, and then you step on the other one and you're about to step off it when that one sinks in and there's a bit of a click, and all that seems to happen is that the door at the far end of the corridor seals shut. So the door that you entered the temple from is now closed. You can't quite tell whether that's like sand has like fallen down or whether, because it's quite a distance in at this point. Or you know that there's a bit of a rumble and then there's no light now coming from behind you.
Well, shit. Well, there's still the main entrance we can exit out of.
Yes, we can find it. The curator says.
But yeah, if you all would, I think that's the path for the rest of you. If you follow that one.
It will. Here it goes, and Cascus tries to do the route.
Cool. Yeah, following Cyan's instructions, you do it perfectly. Not really any dexterity checks or anything needed here. It's just following instructions, and you get across. On the other end of the corridor, just to describe it, it ends. There's like a outline in the wall just ahead of you of a door. It seems to be. It's quite hard to. It seems to be almost drawn. Like there's a door just drawn into the far side of the wall. You can't quite make out from where you are how to really open it. But that's something to think about when, when everyone gets to the other side. It doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like this should be a just dead end, like a corridor that goes nowhere, and then have a picture of a door on the far end. That being said, is everyone else following the instructions as planned?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will sort of recall and then dispatch Hank to sort of get him across rather than
Okay.
him lumbering across and potentially not being able to just stand on one at a time.
After you pass over, the High Curator does as well, and then Tor Velkane. Is it Velkane? Yeah. And now you're by this door here. The door itself, it seems to be covered in a strange coating of like glowing kind of paint that you like. If you trace your finger alongside it, it glows slightly.
Is it magical?
It seems to be magical, yeah.
Yeah. I can just cast it at will.
Yeah. No, it does seem to be magical. The High Curator says this is a standard sort of thing in these sort of temples. You just got to trace the outline of the door and it will open.
I run my finger through, trying to make a door.
Okay, so as you run your finger across it, it glows blue behind your hand, only for a few seconds before it sort of begins fading. But after you sort of get the idea, you follow the path, I guess, and you open it up, and a sort of bright bit of light, like a split of light, opens in the door, and it opens up, and you see, in the next room, a sight of a kind of bygone grandeur of an ancient civilization. So you see a chamber, which is larger than the corridor, with a high ceiling which is supported by ornately carved stone pillars. The walls are lined with a multitude of shelves, which each carry kind of artifacts of various shapes and sizes. Despite the thick layer of dust and sand, you see that these objects have like really cool, masterful craftsmanship as part of it. So the artifacts range from what seems to be simple jewelry and pottery to beautifully carved statues. There's intricately designed tools around here. There are symbols and inscriptions which are similar to other elsewhere found in the temple. So when you sort of came through the corridor and in the main entrance and stuff, similar sort of symbols. And then on the walls, there's some murals which depict kind of quite prehistoric, kind of almost like Egyptian hieroglyph kind of things. Scenes of life, war, and kind of celebrations and stuff from this ancient civilization. So looking around, the High Curator says, "Wow, this is fantastic." You also notice there's a few doors, and there's like a couple of corridors leading off. So at the far end of the chamber, there's a couple of corridors which lead down. Also in the room. So, where are we? Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things that are to do with like history in this room, like historical knowledge and stuff. You can have a look around. You can continue on if you want.
No, I think definitely Cascus would want to have a look around.
Cyan's gonna start looking around for like hidden things in the room.
Okay.
Henning will also have a look around.
All right. So, yeah, give me a perception check, those who are having a look at for sort of hidden things.
Hidden things
Castius,
or just... Oh, right, sorry, go.
Oh,
so as you enter the room, the air of the room is stale and heavy with age. It's quite kind of a contrast, really, to the dry air outside the temple. And it's lit, actually, not just by the dancing lights which have come in here, but there seems to be a sort of like couple of torches on plinths that aren't like flaming. They're sort of just glowing with like a rock in them that sort of is almost mimicking fire. And yeah, you see this stone door also leading off in one of the corridors in the distance.
Is there any kind of suggestion of the kind of the civilized, like who this civilization was?
Yeah,
What it
so give me a history check.
Okay. Be
gonna be
prepared
quite
to be
hard.
wowed by
Yeah, it's
my
gonna be-
plus.
There is no history.
There is no. Do you mean law? Law.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I've
but
only got
the-
mercantile.
There is no history.
Okay, in that
doesn't exist.
case,
And maybe I
you
can
don't know.
lean
To
on
be
the
fair, actually,
expertise of our resident Azuli. Azuli, sorry.
who? What?
I wrote it down
Zero?
as zero. I don't know why I write as Z.
Zero.
Sorry. As zero. There we go.
The High Curator, as she's just going around, she says, "Wow, this is amazing." She says, "This seems to be a temple from a civilization of elves I've never seen before."
Sure, they're elves.
She points to some of the murals on the wall. They seem to depict elves.
Is any of them? I mean, I guess the thought that's running through Cassius's mind, because like old elven civilization, and that the first thing they have to learn is like Eretzar, and like his invasion, and like his depiction. Is there like, do the murals look like they're almost? Is there like a reverence to somebody? Was it like a scene of a war playing out? You know.
So there doesn't seem to be that many in terms of murals in this room, because obviously there's so many shelves that have random artifacts in them. But you do notice that there are a couple of bits of pottery that seem to have scenes of war, just conflicts between local groups and stuff. It's quite hard to really tell the context of it. But I mean, you could always ask the High Curator. She might know.
Yeah, I think that would be something he would do.
So what are you asking?
Can you perhaps enlighten us as to what we are looking at here? I do not know much about your customs and history, but in my lands we speak of Eretzar as a demagogue, a force of evil. But from what I understand, you see him differently. I wonder, given the age of these murals and relics, that this perhaps dates to some time around there. But I must confess, I know very little of these things.
This is dated to long before Eretzar. She says. This is still when the gods roamed the earth. I fear that this might actually be even before the Wars of the Titans. This may be one of the oldest temples we found.
What was society like for elves at that time?
We have very little records. After the Titans and the elves fought, the Titans and the gods fought, it led to both the Titans and the gods' destruction. Adenor was plunged into a dark age for close to 5,000 years.
How does a god die?
Everything dies. Everything can die, even gods. And it is the wars that gods fight amongst each other that are the most dangerous. Because it cares not for who is caught up in between. Anyway.
But Cyan asked a good question. What happens to gods when they died? some were trapped in mountains, but they can't all be trapped, no? How does that work?
I think honestly, nobody knows.
If the gods, do the gods have an afterlife? Where there's an extra super god? If that god dies,
Super
does
God.
do they go to an afterlife governed by an even bigger god?
I
So like
suppose
a
the
lad-
answer you're going to get is we do not know.
Okay, but I just find it funny.
Unless anybody here has a particular Calcifer, you may disagree.
The High Curator sort of points to some of the potteries and says, "Whatever this temple was in reference to, it was not to the gods that we know. I think this might be a sect who worshipped some sort of elemental."
So the bad guy.
Bad guy? Don't know. Elementals have always been part of this world, and we have learnt to live sort of beside them.
I was gonna say that there's living beside them, and then there's hunting them down and carving their hearts out.
You do that?
Did elves do? I don't.
Well,
just-
yes. Well, as much as you dislike our customs,
Does it dislike?
I dislike it. They're
either way,
pretty.
there are things that make me suspect that this place is maybe different to many of the other temples I've been to. It's exciting, huh?
It's weird.
What do you say? Should we continue on?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alright.
Are there still elves that worship these elementals?
Not that I know of. This is from a long time ago. Many of the temples and writings that are found here are untranslatable. It's not often we find places filled with murals. She says, left or right? Which way should we go?
I hear in mazes you should always stick to the left.
Okay, let's go left then.
Very well. Alright, so you follow down the left corridor past the... you go through the chamber and you go to the left corridor. Door is marked... it's like a heavy stone door. Marked with more of these strange symbols. She says, understanding these symbols, I think, may be the key to truly understanding this temple. She sort of does the same thing and opens up traces her finger across the door, and it opens up. So the door from the previous chamber opens up again into a spacious circular room dominated by... Actually, do you want me to, just whilst you guys are going around here, do you want me to put a map up so that you can like just trace where you're going, so you can...
Sure.
Can do.
Yep.
Very much.
I might just make a new... just an empty map. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Activate.
Don't own any token
Robot
vision in this
activate.
scene.
Oh, hang on.
I have no token. I didn't pay this.
And I must scream.
I have no token and I must scream.
Ah.
So
Oh, I
just...
didn't buy the map pack. Damn it.
So let's just say this is like the ravine over here. This is like where the temple starts. The fact that it says new text everywhere is really nice. So this was the main entrance, which kind of went this way. But you went through the side, like a side one here. So you went in through here. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this opened up into a chamber like this. And then you had a couple of ways off like this.
Looks like a rabbit.
And then you've gone this way. Yeah. So, is that all right? Understand? So it makes
Yeah.
sense. Cool.
And then this sort of opened up into a room beyond that door.
Yeah,
with, like,
yeah, so
multiple
this-
ways off.
Yeah. So this is has opened up into a larger room like this. Okay.
Okay.
So in this room, it's a large, spacious, circular room dominated by what seems to be a large, imposing statue of a six-armed deity. So, like, just say the statue's here. 6 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is carved from a single piece of dark stone. Which contrasts quite a lot with the lighter stone of this chamber. And the deity's 6 arms, it seems to be like a lion-headed creature that with like a humanoid kind of body, I guess made of rock mostly. Even though it's a statue, it's all made of rock. And its arms are positioned in this kind of complex pattern, almost like it's in like an action pose or a dance or something. But the lion's face has this serene smile on it that radiates a quite inexplicable sense of peace.
Am I getting Pietro vibes from it?
It's not a tiger.
Roll for Pietro.
More like I guess like you mean like a kind of
Yeah,
area
like
of a human,
Rakshasa
like
type
a-
thing.
Give it a I mean, religion.
Religion. I am so good at these. No.
Yeah. So many terrible rolls today.
Can
I
anyone else give
know.
that a go?
Religion check.
I'll probably say it now. None of you will have come across this
Okay.
before, and it doesn't give Rakshasa vibes. It's got like 6 arms.
It could
you've never
just
heard of Rakshasa.
it could just be a representation of 2 arms moving really quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You could easily have no arms doing that as well.
It's like with the paintings of horses, where no one knew how horses'
Yeah.
legs actually worked, so they all look super fucked up.
Like the 18th. Anyway, sorry.
So there's a few altars kind of around the statue, sort of like on each sort of face of the plinth. There's like altars, and they've got. I mean, it shows how long ago since this has been disturbed. There's like paper thin, almost half fossilized like flower petals that just haven't been touched in thousands of years. They're like almost the gust of wind from you just even being in the room is like enough to sort of half crumble it. There's like there's sort of like these sort of mummified flower petals. There's a kind of like rotten, very rotten, to the point where like the pips have been also kind of fossilized fruits, like dried fruits. But despite the age, I mean, they're remarkably well preserved, which is weird. Like, I mean, even the amount of time this has been, it's probably been 10,000 years. Like, it should not have been preserved that well for that long. Potentially magical preservation.
Anera, you
Um,
about to ask.
The room is also kind of actually softly lit by its own magical source as well, like maybe like a residual magic.
Ah, okay.
and it seems to cast these dramatic statues around the statue, just shadows around the statue, where each face of the statue has a different pose that's happening based on where you look at it. So the 6 arms are actually positioned in a way that if you like, as the light sort of filters through it, it creates like a sort of shadow puppet almost on the ground of like a different thing. So it's like doing different things. It's like maybe praying, fighting, like sowing seeds or something. That kind of thing. And at the opposite, at the opposite end of the room, or kind of opposite of the end of the room, there's another door here.
And Harry, you clock anything about this?
I don't know. Just magical light.
Why are we on the map? Why are we on the map,
I'm,
Mike?
I'm just putting you on here just so you have your 12 okay.
I was panicking.
And Hank. He's here too.
So I mean, you can continue. The choice is yours. Like, I've given you the description of what's in here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's anything. I mean, I'll do like a perception check just to see if there's anything like, I don't know, like a pressure plate on the ground or something
You're looking for hidden things.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can I aid with that?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? A thievery check you want to do? That's what we did before, I think, wasn't it?
I get a +3 bonus to trying to find hidden things.
Okay.
So...
Well, I'll probably just do a perception check. You figure out how you want to support the aid, or how that works. That's a 30.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is
What is wrong with me today?
Quick fail. Actually, it hinders.
Yeah, it's -1.
Oh my god.
You're giving me bad advice. I know you're the expert. But come on, dude.
What the fuck is with my rolls today?
Yeah, I've been rolling really badly as well.
Sorry, guys. I just turned the difficulty up on the campaign.
Oh, of course.
Oh no.
Is that time of year again? All right. So, Cask is having a look around. I mean, this room doesn't seem to have. You don't seem to find anything particularly secret in here. What you do find, there's a few pots, and as you're looking around, you smash one of them by accident. There's a whole bunch of gold in it.
Okay. Casket. I mean, is it like? Surely it's not. What's the word? Tenable, no, not tenable. Like currency that we could actually use.
It's gold.
Yeah,
Gold
that's
is gold.
I was gonna
Okay.
ask as well. Does the currency have any, like, king on it?
No, so they're mostly like little nuggets of gold that aren't perfectly forged.
Right.
They're not really stamped into coins. It might even be before it might be a pre-coin society. What it is, it's mostly kind of oxidized-ish gold. So it's like a lot. So like you could get some value out of it. You could sell it. I mean, you'd have to probably open up. If you wanted to search around, there's probably enough pots in here that you could have a little bit of a look around if you wanted to find some more treasure.
Mm.
Maybe we should leave it be.
Yeah, why would we do that?
I mean, if there's just gold in pots, then
If it could be a magic trap. We fought living statues before, maybe taking
I
the
cast
gold.
detect magic passive aggressively at Cyan. No, out the room again. And the pot's magical.
So I think the actual wording of detect magic is that I can tell you if there's the presence or absence of magic.
And
Oh, right.
you
I
can
think you
like
have to cast it at a higher level for.
I think you can sort of you can remove things that you know to be magic, like piece by piece.
Yeah.
But it is it's just sort of it just gives back like a so
This whole honestly
yes or no?
this whole temple has magic running through it.
Okay.
There's something very magical about the whole place.
Can you discount the temple? is that a thing?
It's like the temple and everything in it. Like you can be just like you just assume that there's some magic there.
I'm just saying, if you take the gold and the six-armed lion statue comes to life and tries to kill us all, I'm going to find you in the afterlife and tell you I told you so.
Yeah, guys, I feel like stealing from a temple isn't very good practice.
Oh, when have we ever expressed good practice?
That's not a good thing.
I mean,
Well, there's no point starting now.
I thought that was what we came here for, to be honest.
Yeah, we
Well,
came here to raid the temple, didn't we?
How about this? It did not take us very long to reach this point. I very much would like to return for the gold, but something does not sit correct with me. I suggest we come back later on and retrieve it once we know this is safe to a certain extent.
Okay.
What if we have to leave by another exit? What if this thing starts collapsing in? I once saw this play where the the whole temple they were like raiding some temple and the whole thing started like collapsing in. He was getting chased by some boulder.
Oh, I think I saw the same play.
God damn it! God fucking damn it!
What was the actor's? What was the actor's name?
Please, can we not do that right now?
I
Don't
I don't look up the actors' names. I'm not that into it, to be honest. I just went with my wife.
Hello, we are kind of busy here.
I'm sorry, your wife?
Wife?
We did know this, I think, didn't we?
Hank is like.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's
Oh,
later.
another bloody secret. Oh, there's too many. I thought we'd got these all out.
Hey, you didn't ask if I was married.
I suppose so, but you could have mentioned it. Thought we were
No.
friends.
No one asked if I was secretly a fox person, and you guys got mad.
Do we
I
have
mean,
to
we
ask
did.
every
I mean, we
eventuality?
we did actually specifically ask if anyone's like hiding some other form or some shit.
Yeah,
Right.
and you didn't. tell us,
Cascus
so-
drops another pot.
It smashes. Inside there seems to be a like a vial of what seems to be some sort of oil.
Please, can we stop this conversation? This is not the place.
Yeah. Less asking people about their history and more pot smashing.
I do not mean the pot was just a way to get your imbecile attention back.
I mean, we could
I'd
just
like-
pour them out as well.
I'd like to smash
I mean, frankly, the pots might be worth some in themselves. Might be worth more than what's inside. These are like ancient pots.
Yeah.
I just want to look for Isolde's like facial expression as we're breaking all of these pots.
She's like, I have a eidetic memory anyway. I've taken a mental screenshot of everything that was in the room. So that's fine.
What a
Blah,
screenshot.
blah.
Yeah, I feel
She
like
goes
a
back to
pot.
sketching out the room.
I feel like 10,000 euro pottery probably could sell for a little bit. I don't know. I'm no
Why don't we take it?
potterist, but yeah, we could definitely pick some of these up on the way. Maybe on the way out. They're pretty big.
If you're counting up all the gold that's in here, workable gold to the equivalent that you'll be able to get it for on the street, there'd be 216 gold in here.
Pretty good.
That's if you're taking it.
I'd say we take the gold. So anything big, we should maybe
Okay.
leave behind. But
No.
we don't know. We don't know if we're going to be able to come back through it. You know,
I strongly
happens.
think we should not. We can come back. It is fine.
you don't know that.
I think if we're gonna take it, we should just take it rather than coming back.
Can I try and convince you with diplomacy? Is that a thing?
Certainly try.
I mean,
Of a
As is between
stubbornness.
player to players. Yeah, you can work that out yourselves.
It's kind of stubbornness, so I don't know.
Okay, but the roll's 50.
Yeah, the roll's 100, Matthew, so you have to beat 100.
Like, look, this is the first time with this party that we've actually come across some gold.
And you want to
In
keep
a,
it.
in a way, I do agree with Cascus. This place does give me a funny vibe.
I said it first.
But, yeah, well, I'm saying it now.
Yeah, but he said it louder and more confidently.
This place!
Ow.
I have a very, very long history with gold, and I've been in situations before that are a little similar. And let's just say the short-termism does not always work out well. I may be naive, gullible, a very terrible friend, but I understand money.
I think you're a very good friend. You know,
Shut up.
you-
Shut
you-
up. No.
No, no, you stood up for me. Admit it.
Fox
Ha.
boy, please be quiet.
You stood
Well-
up for me.
Well, I feel like I'm outvoted here, so... Right.
I agree with you.
Oh. Tor, what do you reckon?
He does not get a vote.
Keeping in mind, Hanera just said...
He's sort of just like looking around and saying, "This place seems weird." But I will do whatever my lady says.
There we go. That's 3 versus 3. What does Hank
Oh.
think?
Well, hang
No.
on, I haven't said I was against the idea. I was just saying there's a funny vibe in it.
I mean, I think Ank and Nyx kind of cancel each other out, you know?
Yeah.
And what of I'm gonna get
Alright.
it right this time, don't you worry.
Actually,
Ashira.
that's me.
I'm just going to call
Are,
you
are you talking? Are you talking about Isolde?
I'm confused now. I
I
thought I got her name right.
Yeah.
I wrote it down right.
You're probably thinking of Azira, which is the name for.
Race, right? But
Yeah.
as the High Curator's name.
Isolde.
Yeah, Solder.
What? That's earlier I said it, and somebody said something else. Yes,
It happens. It happens.
fine. Her. She, the cat's mother.
What are you asking?
What does she think we should do with this money?
She's like, "Hey, listen. I mean, I'm done sketching. I want to go to the next room now."
So she doesn't have a view.
She's not. She doesn't take
Right.
like bribes and stuff.
Enning.
So it's up to Henning.
Enning, deciding vote. What do we do? What do you want to do? You best better not fucking be neutral here.
I swear to
Can
fucking God.
can I pull a coin out of my pocket?
No, I'm.
I will leave it up to the gods to decide my vote.
All right, roll a d2 then, and call which one you want.
What? D2. 1 is yes, 2 is no.
Yeah, but yes or no, do what?
Take the
What?
money, I think it means.
Okay.
Yes, take the money. No, take the money.
So no. So 2 is no. So no, take the money. I'm afraid I'm going to go with Cass.
All right, but if we
I'd
can't
rather
get,
we did.
all right, but if we can't come back through here and get that gold, I'm gonna be pissed.
I thought your name was Calcifer. Do you have a special name too?
Oh, can we just move on?
All right.
Let's go.
Alright, so leaving
Oh.
the girl behind, you continue on.
Along the way, I am going to ask Nyx if she has any special vibes or insights as to if she remembers anything about the temple.
I don't know anything about this place.
A mysterious place you don't know about.
I know about everything. Just some things, which surprise me.
Yeah.
So-
Okay then.
She, as you're walking along, she says, "Sorry, I haven't done much recently. I've been thinking."
What have you been thinking about?
just I keep having these weird memories. I think it's from the gloom.
Gloom memories.
Yes,
What-
I think. Just don't worry. I'll explain later. At that time, you see the High Curator sort of open up the door and say, "Ah, fantastic! Next corridor along." Right, how are we going? Who's going first again? Cyan?
I'll go first.
Very well.
Perception.
Yes, I don't really have a thing for a soldier. Yes, a soldier can be this sunflower leshy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is older than the rest of us.
Yeah. All right. So continuing on. Where were we? We're in the statue room, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this corridor seems to go around quite a long way, like this, and then you notice that there's a door here, and it goes on along a bit more.
Can I like take a peek through the door and see if I see anything?
So the way that these doors work is like they're tracing thing. You can kind of only open them and close them. Like they are either opened or closed. They're not like halfway. The second you trace it, it just sort of slides open like a Star Trek door, kind of.
Right. What do you guys think? Should I give this one a
Open
look
it.
do? I trace my finger around.
Cool. All right. So the second that you open this door, you are so you can imagine that's that. So you are greeted with a breathtaking fresco that stretches all across the sort of four walls of the room. So there's a big mural that seems to tell a story on each of these walls. And it's kept in relatively good condition. I mean, it's protected by the elements. It's painted well. You can tell what's going on. There seems to be a story of a tribe. Let me just change the music a little bit. So it seems the High Curator goes around and sort of begins looking around and says, and it seems to tell the story of a tribe, which she says, it seems that these people call themselves. How do I pronounce this? Ashadi. So she says that the story begins on the left wall, and there's these lush forests and there's these clear rivers, and it depicts a time of prosperity and peace. And you see these elven figures who are shown arm in arm, living in harmony, with like abundant nature about them. Their faces are lifted in joy and reverence towards the stylized image of what seems to be a mountain with a large gem at its heart. And the High Curator, as she points that out, she says, "Yes, I think that is the symbol of Ashad." So on the adjacent wall, the mural takes a darker turn. The skies are depicted as being filled with wrathful gods, their faces stern and gestures menacing. And below them, the land is shown transforming. So you see the green forests and rivers slowly giving way to a harsh, barren landscape. And the elves themselves are shown not necessarily in despair, but like they sort of have a bit acceptance, and they're banding together and going on an adventure. Acceptance of their new reality, a sort of a testament to their resilience. On the third wall, it shows the newly formed desert. The elves are now adapted to their harsh environment, and they're depicted in living in harmony with the unforgiving desert. So their bodies are kind of leaner, their eyes like drawn sharper. And in the background, you see a sort of depiction of this temple, which seems to be stands tall and proud, and a symbol of their unwavering faith. And the final wall shows the elves as the masters of the desert, and they're using magic in these in this mural to create oases, shelters, and sustenance. And the mural ends with a sort of bunch of elves gathered around the image of the mountain, and their arms are raised in a symbol of continued worship to Ashad. And at the center of the room, beneath the final image of the Ashadi, there's a small plaque with writing on it, which seems to be a very old sort of version of Elven. Maybe more like, yeah, very, very, very old version of Elven. You might be able to translate it. It'll be difficult.
I'll have a look at it. No, you want to help out here?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
What
so
world is it?
I guess just give me a straight up intelligence check.
Such 1d20 plus 1.
Okay. Yeah, you don't do well enough, I don't think, to crack it. What it says, it's quite difficult. You get the first half of it translated.
What about Iselda?
She's just going around sketching everything at the moment. She hasn't gone to that bit yet.
Hey, Iselda,
Yes.
would you mind coming over here for a moment?
Very well. Goes over and has a look at it. You translated the first half. Very well done. Yes. When life was lush, we stood arm in arm. In time of turmoil, we found no alarm. Cursed were we for worship's sake, yet in the barren a home we make. What are we who thrive where others fall, who find life in stone, the heart of all? That's what it says.
Can we get the second bit in? There we go. Thank you.
This does not mean very much to me.
So these were exile elves?
They seem to be elves who were punished by the gods for worshipping the old gods. They seem to have made this temple in defiance, even as this land was cursed to not allow anything to grow here. Maybe that explains why this land is so dry.
So the land was cursed because these elves wanted to revere the mountain. Ashad.
I suppose so.
This might sound rather sacrilegious, but the gods sound like assholes.
Well, good thing we don't worship those gods anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this is fascinating. I suppose we can continue on.
Very well. Does it look like there's a next way we can go?
Well, there's still the rest of the corridor.
Any pots in this room?
There are. Are you gonna just sort of like see
Just-
what's in them again?
Just peer into some of them.
Okay. So in this room there are a number of little things. Make me a perception check. Okay,
27.
27. Right, you find in this room there's 252 gold. There's a vial of something else with like a green liquid in it. There's like a pot that has some oil in it, like which seems to be some sort of preserved plant from very long ago. It's not great, but it might do something. And then there's a little. You recognize this? I mean, you're like a trainee runesmith, right?
Hmm.
There seems to be something that seems to be a rune here. Evidence that maybe the elves did used to mess around with rune stuff.
So is it like a rune on something, or is it like a rune stone, or
So it's a flurrying rune. You recognize?
well, on a rune stone?
Yeah.
Right. I assume we're leaving the gold behind, but can I at least take this?
We will hear you, Councillor.
He's speaking up.
No, I do not think anything. Yeah, I said this place could be very magical.
Ugh.
Henning, if you want to inspect
hurts.
these oils, you're welcome to as well.
Oh yes. Shall do.
Give me a
Um,
crafting check.
Crafting.
All right. Yeah, you recognize both of them. You recognize the thing in the jar as being a very old nettle weed residue.
Residue. What do I know? What can be made with that?
There you
Oh.
go. And the other one is an anti-plague, which is moderate.
So, I will definitely be taking a sample of that nettleweed residue.
Oh, I thought we were leaving everything here.
Yeah.
But hang on a minute. We can kill people with this.
I can kill people. We can kill people with this. Hold up the rune.
Yeah.
We can
Oh,
buy
yes.
things to kill people with
But
this.
I-
Point to the
yes.
gold.
But I can give this to Cyan, or Vanel, or whatever name you're going by today.
You
Or
can call
And
me
you-
Bob.
Bob. Bob. Do you know what? For the rest of the day, you are Bob. And
Very
then
well.
Bob can apply this to their weapons, and it'll hurt them.
Have you
Well-
noticed? Have you noticed that you have suddenly become interested in this the moment your own self-curiosity was piqued?
Why don't we just take all of the gold? If you're gonna take one thing, we might as well take all of
Hey,
it.
Okay, how about everybody just takes one thing?
No,
How
absolutely not.
How about we keep things here and then we make sure there's no threats further on first?
Yeah, but the threat could emerge if you take it and then it comes. No,
I'm just going to take a little bit
no,
of it.
you are
and
not.
Then
Henning, you are not taking anything.
just pulls out a vial and slowly starts pouring it. in.
Can I like slap the pot on the ground or something?
Yeah.
Still gonna let you do it.
Well,
Beep, beep.
So,
Right.
it's a disarm then, right?
yeah, it's gonna do disarm. Hold on, wait. Don't I have a finish? No, I don't have it yet. But he's gonna I tell you, he's gonna draw his sword and like.
You try to knock something out of a creature's grasp. Attempt an athletics check against the target's reflex DC.
Brilliant. What was it? Athletics.
Yeah, against.
I'm not gonna. I was about to say I'll do the legend point, but then I was just like, well, he's just gonna say I'm gonna do mine.
Yeah. Let's agree, no legend points.
Fair fight, felt. Alright, fine.
What's a legend point?
Yeah.
That wasn't very good. 18.
You don't have to roll.
28.
Good.
Ah!
You don't have to roll. It's your
Oh.
reflex DC.
Oh, where's my 14? Wait, what is it?
24.
What is it?
24 then.
24. Okay.
So okay, now you managed to just sort of like hold your hand back as Cuscus is trying to like.
Nice try. And he just corks in, puts it in his pocket.
Well, we might as well just take all of the gold then if we're gonna take one thing.
Absolutely not. I do not. Maybe discuss. Well, you can all take what you want, but I am not. This place give me heebie hooboo.
Okay, we'll take the gold
Yeah, I think,
and the rune stone.
yeah, I
and
really
the
Well,
gold.
I'm taking this anti-plague too then.
Yeah, I really think we should just pile up all this gold and just
Wait, sorry, what runestone was it again? Do we not know what
flurrying.
it's called? Flurrying.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
And I'll go
A
back
lot
to the other
suffering.
room and collect up the gold from there as well.
Okay. There's another flowering rune in there as well. You find,
Oh, cool.
as well as oil of unlife. This is what Henning would notice from it, and dark vision elixir greater. So the oil of unlife would be moderate, and the dark vision elixir would be greater.
Has
Sorry.
somebody
Oh, you're gonna.
messed up?
spoil
Okay.
my life. Oh, I said it. No. Wait, how did I do that? You could stop it. You're putting words in my mouth.
Right, you're saying it.
Oil of unlife. Oh, where did that come from?
And then there's another flowering rune in that room as well.
Nice.
And did you know how much gold was in that one?
Yeah, 216.
Okay, and there's 252 in this one.
216 and 252.
Torval Kane says, well, this is the easiest temple raid ever. We should just go and just cut our losses, right?
I
I
pick up
mean,
those elixirs.
Decent
Ice.
chance
There might
there's
be
more.
something better further on.
Sorry, can I pick up those 2 items that I said?
Yeah, oil of unlife and,
Yeah.
and dark vision. Yeah. That's right.
I'll deconstruct them later.
Cool. So where do you want to go next? I mean, there's this door here, but that just leads back into this corridor.
This way?
And then there's this way as well.
Yeah, I think probably up this way.
Okay. Just bear with me a sec. All right, so this corridor goes on a long time up past this point. So it continues on like this, and then it begins to go down like here. So are you all going that way?
Yeah, I'll just follow.
Okay, I'll just move it all over.
Follow Bob.
I am
Just like
Bob.
glitching through the walls a little bit, basically.
You
All right,
become ghost.
Ah!
give me a perception check, Cyan, as you round the corner.
Okay.
Remember, you got +2 to that.
Oh yes, +2. 27.
All right, so as you step back through from the mural room, so as you step back through from the mural room, you find yourself in this long, narrow hallway. The walls, the floor, and the ceiling are made of the same weathered stone as the rest of the temple, but it feels different. It's colder in here, and it's darker in here, and it carries a very ominous silence. Unlike the first corridor you entered, there are no holes for sunlight here. Instead, there's these, again, kind of flickering torches that are giving off this sort of fake torch-like glow from like a stone in the center of them. They're mounted on the walls at regular intervals, and they're casting these long dancing shadows, which are making the corridor seem to twist and turn like as you're looking down it. It's a bit spooky. So what did you get? You got 25.
27 because of the +2.
Okay. All right. So you immediately spot the presence of multiple pressure plates and tripwires hidden cleverly amongst the stone floor tiles. The pressure plates themselves are made of what seems to be a very thin kind of wire, or very thin kind of string of some sort. That I'm not quite sure what would happen if they're triggered, but they seem to be set in all over the place. Like it's going to be very difficult to sort of crawl through here without potentially setting them off. It's possible, but all of you passing through might be difficult.
Can I see if they're like hooked up to any traps at all?
So from this part is like the way that they've designed it is that you can't quite see where the traps are without going further down. But obviously going further down means that you're at risk of setting the traps off.
All right, everybody. I have a plan. I'm thinking of going to the end first. And then I'm gonna see if I can spot any, like, I don't know, traps that I can disarm before you lot head through.
Okay.
All right, leave it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead then.
So what are you doing?
I'm gonna try crawling through, making sure not to get through any pressure plates to see if there's any traps at the end for me to disarm.
Yeah, fine. So, all right. In that case, make me an acrobatics check.
Acrobatics, okay. Better roll fucking high, you prick. Fuck you! Fuck you!
All right. So you begin as the as you begin to sneak through, the party sort of like begin to watch as you Mission Impossible your way through, trying to duck and weave past all the tripwires. You get about here before you set one off. You
Hang
just oh yeah, go on.
Does have +3
Oh yeah.
tech trap.
Yeah, you've detected the traps. You're
You
trying to
just-
like not set them off
But
for
by
this
setting
point.
them off.
Detected them with your body.
So you accidentally bring yourself clumsily down on one of the tripwires. Right. Okay. So shooting out is a spinning blade. There seems to be like a pillar, like here in the wall, with like a sort of slit in the wall there. As you set off one of the traps, a scimitar, embedded onto some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, comes out and tries to slash you. So that is an attack with +12.
Can I nimble dodge
Yes.
if it's an attack? So my AC is now 26.
So that's 31 to hit.
Fuck.
Is that a crit? And that's not a crit. Is it?
No.
Can I use champ? No, this doesn't count as an enemy, does it?
No,
Yeah.
it can, no.
Yeah, I
It's just-
can't champions reaction it.
Right, so that's 8 points of slashing damage.
The scimitar,
That's manageable.
the scimitar is enfeebled too.
And then we are rolling initiative. But let's move on to the next. Because the way traps work is you have to roll initiative. But it's 10 o'clock now, so we'll do that from the next game.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Um,
sorry, we're rolling initiative now, or
No, we'll do that next game. That's fine.
okay.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, everyone. Thanks for watching. Liz, watching.
Thanks for running.
Thanks for running.
And
Thanks for the
we'll see
game.
you all-
Thanks for the loot. Woo!
Free loot.
Woo!
It's not really
Poison.
free because it's like kind of loot that you've earned over quite a while that I haven't really had a chance to give you. So
So catching up.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
So have you stinged this?
I'm doing it now. See you next week. Our
Thanks.
little nipples.
No.